I am a jiu-jitsu practitioner and like I'm a martial arts enthusiast. And I don't know if you like watch my other videos on YouTube, like if you got a chance to do so. Uh, I mostly interview like UFC fighters and like jiu-jitsu practitioners, mostly not like sport jiu-jitsu guys, guys that do more of like hicks and stuff. Because I have interviewed like Jack Toffer and
That asshole.
yeah. And I mean like we talk frequently over like messenger. He calls me for my birthdays and stuff, like, so it's more than just like like we have a personal connection. And I keep forgetting his name, Ryan Young from Kama Jiu Jitsu, because I'm like pretty much intrigued by what people tell about Hickson stuff. Because like Gordon Ryan stuff, like he is the pinnacle of like the epitome of jiu-jitsu of today, and we see what he does in real time, and he also like breaks down his techniques and his instructional, so we know what's up with him. But Hickson, it's all like hearsay, but people say like amazing things. And I like watch, and I have like connections with, and I'm also like in touch with like Henry Akins. I like talked to him like in his side, like like a couple of months ago. Like I stopped being on his side, and he gave me like a lot of inputs and insights. And I competed in a super fight in an event called Kumite, and he gave me a lot of insights for like how to approach my game and stuff. So my question is like I saw your video, I mean one of your videos, and it was like super amazing because like how much you know work you have put in to like go and meet Hickson, because I always wanted to do that, and I was like trying to bug everybody regarding private or how to get it done. But you made you like to take pain, I mean like take took pains to like go out there and like wait for him. And then like it was like crazy because you said like you flew from Australia to like LA, and like only to hear him say maybe next week or next month. So how did you like get to know about like because a lot of people know about Hickson, but they just I know there's somebody called Hickson, he's great, that's it. So what made you like pursue in a training with Hickson?
Well, just like everybody else, when I started jujitsu because I was looking for the best possible way to defend myself. So I looked into it before I started anything. I didn't just jump the gun. And after a long pause in life, I was able to be able to do jujitsu. So I jumped in 100%. And when I started, like everybody else, like the VHS of choke, it shows up eventually. Everyone says like, you gotta look at this, you gotta watch this, you gotta see it. And it was one of the first things I ever saw when I started, and I thought that's definitely what I want. That's what I want to do, and no one ever lived up to that expectation. No one. So like Hickson sees jujitsu in a very different way to anyone I've ever met. And all the other people that I've met that see it almost the way he sees it are students of Hickson. So uh, I got to come like close to learning Hickson style because of Jason Roebig. I was in jujitsu for quite some time before anybody said, there's a black belt that does stuff that's Hickson-y. I was like, oh, well, I'm there. Like, tell me when, tell me where. So I dropped everything and I went to a seminar and I met Jason. Jason's a black belt under Cron, and Cron's Hickson's son, but he spent time with Hickson as well. So he was my first real physical introduction to Rickson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And to put it mildly, it's not a system of moves. Like the systemization of moves is it's a pragmatic way of learning, and I adhere to it personally, but it's more conceptual than anything when you're learning Hickson's style, because Hickson's jiu-jitsu is not, this is the move for now. That's not the point. Being able to learn that jiu-jitsu is something more than a systemization of specifics. That's what Jason opened my eyes to. And the minute I learned how to do a hip escape properly, I never stopped. So the idea of the hip escape is the idea of base, and the idea of base is the idea of middle, and middle is connection. And again, it's this set list of things that become a concept rather than I'm gonna do the Worm Guard DVD series this month. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction to physically feeling the idea of Hickson. And then after that, I started hunting down anyone with Hickson pedigree or lineage, and I wouldn't leave anyone alone because I thought I'm never going to be able to get, Hickson. Like I'm just going to have to go and see every single one of his students until the day I'm dead. And one of the very first guys that ever wrote back to me, like the moment I wrote to him, was Jack Taufer. Like
Mm,
I saw a video because I typed in, Rickson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I started
yeah.
scrolling down looking for affiliates, and Jack had a wonderful video that he did where he was showing I think it was the hip bump sweep counter to a back take.
Yeah.
I just sent a note to the name Jack Taufer,
You
and he
put your
hit me.
hips forward and like stop the, yeah.
Yeah. So the literal opposite of what the hip bump is the response. So that was a great lesson to see on YouTube because no one else is teaching that. But yeah, Jack wrote back like 2 seconds later, and we've been family ever since. Like that guy is a part of my life forever, whether I like it or not. So
I mean, like when we like have calls, like make calls to each other, it's like almost like 3.5 hours of like nonstop jiu-jitsu
oh
talk.
yeah, don't answer
Like it's
calls. You can't answer Jack calls. That's your day. I answer Jack calls once a week tops. I love him, but I have no time. I've got a toddler, I've got a job, I got way too much on.
yeah.
I don't answer anybody's calls to be fair. So excuse me.
So what was like training with because like if you see my other interviews, it's gonna be much different than what I'm gonna do with you because like with others I have a lot because they have a lot of content on YouTube, so I'm gonna like so I was like asking them regarding like a lot of history of Gracie family and all this stuff, so I have a lot of information already recorded in my videos. But with you it's like you're just like somebody like me who took pains to go and like meet Hickson. You just lived my dream. So basically I just want to know what it was like to the first day or like the training with Hickson, because now he's not the prime Hickson no more. He's just he says like he's just like maybe 1% of what he used to be, but still the knowledge is already there. Maybe it's like 10 times better than what it was back then. So
Dude, he is just being humble, man. I understand, and I met him quite some time ago, and he was, if you want to say not in his prime, I don't want to meet him in his prime. Jesus Christ,
yeah, that's what
but
Jack said.
the him that I've encountered physically, I'm good. That's enough. I don't want a prime Hickson if
Like even
that's
now, the
Jesus
one.
Christ. Yeah, man. Like it's phenomenal. It's like watching Kelly Slater surf. It's somebody who knows exactly where to be at the right time, and it's a thing of beauty. It's not someone who's just like doing it whether you like it or not. Like, no, man, it's not that. So it's something much more, pardon the pun, but invisible. It
Hmm.
really is something that nobody else is seeing. You have to feel. And when you feel what he's doing, you understand what he's trying to say to you. And that is what shits me the most, because people be like, oh, he'd be like a purple belt these days. Like, fuck around and find out, son. Like I've felt the best and the best over and over, man. And no, they don't feel like Hickson. They feel like a very strong, tough guy who wants a very specific submission because of this.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, it's more like fighting a waterbed, and the waterbed knows where to be at the right time to make you suffer.
a red
So
blanket.
it's
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's not it's such a cliche to say. So Hickson is Hickson, and no one will ever compare to that. But being able to physically feel that in my lifetime is a privilege that I will never forget. So yeah, it was worth it. Sleeping in the van down by the ocean, waiting and hoping, totally worth it.
Yeah, that's what I because like I had a lot of conversations with both Henry Akins and like Jack Doffer. I was just trying to pick their brain. Oh, maybe like so. I mean, of course, you cannot compare today's jiu-jitsu with Rickson jiu-jitsu because they both have completely different objectives. Because this is just to, face another like a grappling versus grappling scenario. So you could have a lot more techniques that you cannot have in a
Yeah,
in a jiu-jitsu that's supposed to face like a striker or like Muay Thai or like where you could
yeah.
get punched and kicked in the face. So maybe he gets caught in a leg lock of some sort because like there are moves that he would never do because that's not jiu-jitsu according to him. That's just only gonna work.
Honestly, the difference is his ability to deconstruct a thing. That's the thing that's never spoken about because everybody talks about his weight distribution, his connection, etc. Like that is, yeah, that's a part of it. But the ability to take a move, like what are the steps of a hip bump sweep? So let's say the opponent sits up, you ride along, the hand touches the ground, you reach over the top to block a post. If you're doing it properly, you should be pushing from the foot, but dropping the knee to the ground and driving weight downwards, etc. So what's happening to the opposite person? How does that person get swept? Their hip bone is going to pass the Achilles and they're going to lay on their back. They don't get to post their hand because you're controlling the hand. Okay, so what's the opposite of my hip bone passing the Achilles? Sitting up on my knees. The complete opposite of my hip bone passing the Achilles is me sitting up and putting my hips in line with my knees. That's the response to the hip bump sweep. That's not, I'm going to bear hug you and push forward to not get swept. That's the guillotine. That's the hip bump sweep forward. So the way he thinks is a way that no one else is paying attention to so much as they're trying to explain parts of it. He's going to lean left when you push right. That's the easiest way to start to explain his thought pattern, right? At least the way that I can teach it is that if the person wants to push, help them push. If
Yeah.
they want to pull, help them pull. He's becoming a hindrance at all times and helping you suck.
Yes.
That's what makes him what he is.
Yeah.
It's not he
Strength.
knows this. He can do this. No, it's the gentle art. It's jujitsu. He is going to go with you. He's going to help you with something or hinder you with something, not try and stop things or try and do things. He's going to do the opposite, and then he's going to take advantage of your stupidity or overcommitment or undercommitment. So that's honestly the best way to explain physically feeling Rickson do things. And he's slow and he's methodical and he's not trying to be faster or stronger than you. He's just like a serial killer. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So this is what I have realized from being exposed to Rickson's jiu-jitsu or even like trying some of his moves that he shows online and like some of the moves that Henry Akins shows in his seminars and stuff. When I do it to people, they don't understand what's going on. They're like, "Oh my gosh, like you keep doing the same thing again and again, and I can't like stop it." But the thing is, it's that is the essence of jiu-jitsu. Like that is real jiu-jitsu. And these people are like doing moves in a trying to do it in a competent way, like a more competent way, and try to like be more like faster, like do it with more strength and stuff. But when like I do the hit, for example, like flattening somebody from the back take, right? So I just put like both my elbows under their shoulder, like touch the soles of my feet, and then like open my knees, and it just like flattens them out, like doesn't matter how big they are, and they're like, dang, nobody has done that to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm just like grabbing bits and pieces of what Rickson shows online, and it's working like magic. But if I understand like what Rickson understands about jujitsu as a whole, as in a sense, like how easier my life is gonna be. So a lot of people think, oh, Gordon's gonna like beat the shit out of Rickson, like he's just a thing of the past when nobody knew jujitsu. He was like even like I had a if you follow my Instagram, I had an argument with Gordon Ryan himself online on Instagram where we go back and forth, and Felipe Pena joined us, and like it was back and forth, and I had a lot of screenshots posted where I was like arguing with him as to, like how a back escape works without even you using your hands to
Put your
defend it.
back
Like
on the ground.
yeah, just the how you use your leg to distribute the weight and make your head feel like an anchor, so that they can like pull you back. And also it makes them put their choking arms, elbow, and head on the same side, so they don't have leverage to squeeze you. And he was like, oh, like Hickson's that Hickson is like, uh those things work only in 1975, and people, if Hickson was here, I'll just choke him like punches time. I was like, bro, I know you're the greatest of today, but you gotta be open minded in trying to learn from the giants of the past. So what is like like your reply to people that think like Hickson was great only because people of his time did not do jiu-jitsu, and he was like this jack with six pack?
Well, I want to measure my words on this, but most people are retarded, so I don't really care. It's a very fucking laid back interview, sir. Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't necessarily like I'll hear everybody out, but I don't necessarily take anybody else's word to heart. So I like to know things for myself. So other people's opinions don't necessarily matter as much as my opinion. So it's never really bothered me so much because there's not a lot of people that are gonna bother to feel what Hickson's talking about. You know, they everyone just likes to be right all the time. I'd prefer to be wrong and learn and grow. So if anybody wants to shit on Hickson, just let them. Their loss, not mine.
It's not even like trying to like answer them or like reply to them out of like ego or something like that, but I just don't want people to get misguided by what the greatest of all time says. And
Oh, dude, just let them be misguided. I think the best you can do is lead by example in life.
yeah,
So, like, I'm with you, and I love talking shit and arguing as much as you do. But, like, apparently, so good for you, by the way. Um, if somebody doesn't agree with me, it's not my job to make them agree with me, but I will be doing my thing. And if my thing starts to make a little bit more sense to you, if you start to pay attention, great. If not, fuck off. I don't care. You gotta feed the hungry, not the bloated. Howder.
mm,
You gotta feed the hungry, not the bloated. There's no point trying to help most people. So try and help the ones that want to be helped and that need to be helped. I think that's a good way to take away from this. Because good Lord, I'm not going to be arguing with someone who has 4 billion golden medals on his wall and feels good about himself. Let him feel good about himself. That's awesome. You did your thing, I'll do mine. I'm gonna go over here and show a 56-year-old woman how to get out of a headlock easily because it's way easier than you want it to be. So, I'm kind of done trying to lead a horse to water these days.
yeah, correct. Yeah,
It's
right.
more water for me, man. Fuck yeah.
Right, right. I'm gonna enjoy all the good things when you're there, like criticizing, you
Yeah,
know.
dude, I like the fact that I'm very confident in what I do, and I've got black belts that roll with me and look very confused afterwards. Like I've never heard of you. I don't understand. Why don't you have sponsorship? Why aren't you blowing up on Instagram? Like not everybody is in it for that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of cool knowing something very special and giving it to people that cared enough to sleep in a van down by the ocean. So I pass it on where it's deserved, mostly,
Yes.
not where it's profitable, which is my fucking detriment. So yeah, that's why I'm poor.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm rich in spirit.
correct. Yeah. I mean, if I could get access to all Hickson stuff with the rest of the world being completely ignorant about it, I'll be the happiest person because I'm just getting everything. The world is like the deficit of all the knowledge that I've had. So my question is like, um, Hickson's understanding of jujitsu, right? Like there are other Gracies who have been exposed to jujitsu as much as Hickson did, but he is like levels above everybody. Like what do you attribute that to, like, from what you like have seen in him like so far, if you could like, because all the Gracies were great in their own you know way.
I would say it's simplicity, efficiency, and there's a sense of honor and dignity that stands very tall with him. So it's less about I need to have 5,000 people see what I'm doing. I don't need to do the coolest, newest thing so that you pay closer attention to me. That's how I feel, and I might be
Mm.
completely wrong, and maybe he wants 5,000 people paying it. I don't know, man. I'm not going to ask him.
Uh,
His ability to simplify things and make them as efficient as possible is what makes him stand above and beyond most, because he's not trying to do something complicated for the sake of complication. He's doing the smartest thing at the smartest time with the least amount of effort.
so you said that the first time you ever met Hickson was at a seminar in Queensland, if
Yep.
I'm yeah.
I would say might have been Queensland. I think it was Queensland during yeah, might have been Queensland. Can't quite remember now. Maybe it was Melbourne or Sydney. I don't know. But I met him at a seminar and I never left him alone. Just kept following him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Still fucking texting him all the time.
Did you see anything like cool or crazy? Because I've heard a lot of seminar stories where black belts have gone to the extreme of complaining about him that he is like just picking on them and like just to make them look stupid and like embarrassing.
Because they are stupid. I fucking hate that when people
Right.
shit on him for the way he teaches. That really annoys me. I've seen
He's the
interviews about him.
greatest.
Like, yeah, fuck yeah. Dude, he's trying to fix your stupid shit. Be respectful. And like he's just picking on me. No, he's sick of people being shit at this. So, and I'm with him on that. Like, again, I'm not speaking for the man. I'm just assuming, right? I don't like the idea of someone being disrespectful towards Hickson because he tried to help them. I think that's rude and uncalled for because he's not trying in any way to be rude to you. He's literally telling you your shoes are untied, you're going to trip over and hurt yourself. So stop being a cunt. That's just
Exactly.
my
That's how I think
opinion.
about it.
Good.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
Hickson. If he says your technique is fucked up, then he had to like shut your mouth and listen to him if you really
he's
want to benefit out of it.
he's
You paid him.
exceedingly polite when he does it, by the way, because he has him and Jack have a very gentle ability to say, that's a very good idea, but here's this other idea that you might want to try because of this, this, and this. Meanwhile, I'm terrible. And I say, no, Hickson says to do this because you're fucking stupid. I don't have time to argue. I'm not going to waste my time on someone who doesn't want to listen. Hickson is, and he tries to help to a certain extent, and I very much respect that about him and Jack, because Jack's tried to tell me to stop being so blunt when I teach things, because I've lost friends over this stuff. Like, no, don't lean left. It's not that hard. Lean right, genius. Like, yeah, well, you do whatever Hickson tells you to. Dude, if I hired an accountant to do my taxes and he told me to carry the fucking one, I might listen. Whatever, you're right. My bad. I don't know what I was thinking. Guy that lives in the middle of nowhere who's never fucking done this. Whatever. Sorry. Go on a
Yeah,
whole
no, I
thing.
understand. I understand
I
how
think
you feel.
it's
That's how
rude.
I feel about like ignorant people in general. So my question is like, so when I see Hickson, he stands out, he like in a lot of different ways other than jujitsu because the way he talks, the way he behaves, it's very un-Gracie like because I see all the Gracies like trying to like have their own opinion, like a little bit of close-mindedness and like try to like talk a lot of shit about like Eddie Bravo and stuff. But like Hickson was the only guy to be on like Joe Rogan's podcast along with Eddie Bravo, and he had the patience to just like listen to what Eddie Bravo had to say about his style and stuff. He took pains to listen and then said his opinion, like voiced out his opinion. So as a man, like what are like certain things that you want to like take away from being with Hickson? If you could like elaborate a lot on like his qualities as a man, because I know he is like pretty tough and he'll go to the extent of killing himself for the honor of jiu-jitsu and his family.
He's a man that'll look you in the eye when you speak with him. He lives with honor and dignity and carries a sense of integrity that most men don't. He's not a salesman. He's not trying to win you over in any way. He's him, whether you like it or not. And I respect that. So, not sure what more to say in regards to Rickson, other than he is Rickson. There's no version of Rickson. There's no mask. Does that make
No,
sense?
I understand. No, I understand. Because like even when he speaks in a very like polite and he speaks like a very learned person. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a fighter that would, you know, fight tooth and nail with somebody that challenged his family or something like that. He has like a, he speaks like a very learned person. Like, I mean, he is the greatest of all times for a reason. So my last question to you is like, because it's gonna like end in 9 minutes. So this is my last question. So have you like watched a lot of Gordon Ryan stuff, like the way he competes and all this, like things, like
He's getting
his
a lot tighter.
yeah. So how do you compare that with Hicks and stuff? Because like his mount, I think it's not like a lot of the shit that he used to do before, where he just like pulled guard and went for like some weird like lock. Now he has like almost eliminated weakness in every possible position in jiu-jitsu, and he has a very deep level of understanding. But I think Hickson's is like completely different kind of understanding, but he also is similar to Gordon in terms of like understanding and breaking down every position to the most like relevant denominator. So what do you compare from what do you see?
I don't compare. I think they're both two completely different people, and they're both at the top of their field at their time in their life. Um, I think John is a fantastic coach, and he's pointed in very specific directions, and Gordon has followed. Not saying Gordon isn't thinking for himself. I don't know him, but like his ability to apply himself in that specific way is phenomenal. I could never possibly compare the two of them because I only know one of them, and the one of them that I know, that's his jam, man. So I don't know. There's no real good answer for me. I don't know Gordon. I'm never going to meet him. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but good for him. I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't see similarities between the two other than
Okay.
distance being managed a bit more these days.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, John is a very good coach and he's very constructive in the idea of taking up the deficit of space by applying leg locks because leg locks happen because of shit like worm guard. Everybody in the gi, everybody in the gi using the gi as an excuse to not have to be close to things because you can't punch me, haha. All of a sudden, no one wants to wear a gi anymore because leg locks took up that space. And then all
Hmm.
of a sudden, leg locks have taken up that space. So now everyone's taking away space. So if anything, John is kind of inadvertently taking us back around to I don't want to get punched in the face land, which is fantastic. You know,
Okay.
the idea of staying close and staying connected and using weight distribution instead of strength and speed is like this full circle of jujitsu. So sooner or later, somebody's gonna miraculously reinvent jujitsu by punching someone one day and going,
Yeah.
"This is the new wave of jujitsu. I punch motherfuckers to get submissions." Like, oh, fucking mind blown. So, dude, I'm the last person to talk about with this because I started doing this specifically to learn how to defend myself if I don't have any of my weapons. That's it. I didn't do this because I wanted to have a stack of fucking medals and like a series of instructionals and podcasts and shit. I like being left alone. It's not a big thing for me.
Hmm.
The idea of the sport of jujitsu being compared to Rickson's jujitsu is just two fucking different worlds in my head.
Correct.
I'm sure they're very close in their own way, but give a fuck.
The objective is completely different. Yeah.
I
You had to
guess.
change a lot of things.
I guess. I don't know. I'm too fucking old now, and I'm too disconnected. I'm never gonna be cool. I wasn't cool when I started. I'm not cool near the end either. So I don't know who's cool right now or who's gonna be cool next year because Gordon's name will disappear like everybody else's name disappeared. You know, like you go into an academy these days, literally, you go into an academy and say, "Hey, so have you heard of Rickson Gracie?" Silence, man. Like 9 out of 10 might not have even heard of Rickson. It's going to be the same thing for every single person when they go on the ground. No one's going to know.
Yeah.
So, there's sense of ennui over here, but I don't give a fuck.
So how did you like get a private with him? Like because I tried the online method, but I have never gotten any replies or calls. So you just like go and knock on his door or something.
I don't I pursued him relentlessly. I would be respectful and I would message and I'd try and I was continually respectful and I continually messaged and I never stopped. And then
So
one
through
day,
the online platform, the
oh no,
academy.
this is more back in the day with like texts and stuff. So I'd send a message to a friend that would message him because they had his number. Like I didn't have his number for years. He's not going to go handing out his number. And then when I got his number, I got one of his three fake numbers to begin with, you know. So I pursued him not because I wanted to have a photo with him. And I think it took a long time for that to kind of shine through. I know he's more open now to trying to spread what he's teaching. And I love that. I love that people are getting to do privates with him now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how hard it is to get in contact with them because I have people messaging me every day and asking me if I can contact on their behalf, you know, like, and I never did that with anyone. I asked Jack because Jack could ask. That was it. I don't want to pressure anybody
Jack
into
said
this.
like he would do that on my behalf, but I need to like text him again. So yeah.
Yeah, like what I would recommend is doing some privates with Jack because Jack is a good leeway to saying like, oh, this guy doesn't suck. You should probably do a private with him. I fixed this, and this. Because when you do a private with Hickson, the very first private is him testing how much you know,
Yeah.
dictates how much he's going to teach. Because if you don't know this part, he can't teach you this part. Because if you don't know this, which is the most important thing, you don't get this and this. Then if you don't know this and this, you don't get this. If you don't know this, it just keeps going out into infinity of like, well, can you just show me how to get out of the berimbolo? Just fuck off. You know, like you're not really paying attention to the art and what it can do. You're just here for a picture. So don't know, man. I'm definitely not the guy to ask, but and yet people do. I don't know why he puts up with me, but he does. And my foot got in the door and I just never pulled it out. I just kind of pried my way in and I'm waiting to be shot in the back of the head one day and just thrown in the dumpster. Yeah, I snuck in the back
That's the
door.
only way you stop getting hit privates with Hickson.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Like I'm just gonna keep showing up until he tells me to fuck off until I'm dead. So it's a miracle that I got in and I won't stop. I'm gonna
Yeah,
enjoy every
you
minute of it.
I mean like you got what you deserve. Like, you were like relentless about it. So, the universe gives you that, what I'm saying?
I guess that's one way of putting it. I
Yeah.
would say broken spine and collarbone and all the injuries and all the sand in my underwear from sleeping on the beach. Like, yeah, I got what I deserve.
Same. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I think
it's
that's what I'm gonna do because like I'm so hell bent on getting a private with Hickson and absorb like a sponge, like whatever he has to say with like shut with like a shut mouth, what I'm saying? Um yeah, so that's pretty much it. And thank you so much for doing this podcast with me.
no problem.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate you asking me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. See ya.
See ya.